Welcome friends! In this video I'm going to talk about how I wrote the song Just Because, and I wanted to go in this corner of my yard because I like the flowers, and also this is kind of funny, like big giant rose thing. Feel free to utilize timestamps because I talk about different topics in this video, and if there's a certain topic that interests you more, you can skip ahead and I will never know because I don't look at my analytics. So let's get started. Recently a position became available in my school district that I thought on paper looked really nice because it's junior high band position. I really want to be just a band teacher, not band and general music, which is what I do now. I would love to focus on one subject and have that be my subject. That position opening up looked very tempting to me, and so I called the person who currently holds that position. We had a great conversation and it felt like, wow, this feels really good. This feels like a job I could do. And there's another person in my district who's in the same position, except that he also works closely with this person who's leaving. So he actually was calling me saying, hey, the district is looking to hire from the outside for this temporarily for next year. They don't want to hire from within. I got pretty upset about that. I wasn't even going to get a chance to apply for this position that looks really great, and then I stepped back and thought about it for a little bit. Even though that position structure would be really great, I would probably not be the ideal candidate for that particular school for a number of reasons that I don't really want to detail. In the end, I decided it's okay to be where I am. I do really enjoy my current schools and my current situation, so that's what I decided. So this song came from a free write that just poured out of me. Honestly, I was just waiting for my husband to do something or to come home or something, and I was like, I have an extra 20 minutes, I'm just gonna write some stuff. It ended up being very close to what the song was. It ended up having this form to it that was already pretty poetic, where every first, second, and last sentence started with just because. And then the third sentence was two details that were different. So for example, in my free write, just because the candy's there doesn't mean that you should eat it. That's the first line of the song. So just because you unwrapped it and now it lies patiently in your hand, colors that don't exist in nature, sticky like a floor the morning after a party. You know that once you pop it in your teeth will ache with instant regret. That's very close to the first verse of my song. The second part of the free write ended up being the same kind of format too. So I guess I'm thinking in AABA form now. I guess that's just how my brain is now. Since I've been writing like this. I wrote the first two lines of the last verse, and then I got interrupted, so I put it away for a second, and then the next day I just filled out the last verse, and then I filled out the B section, which kind of ties things together, because I start with the metaphor of the candy being there. It doesn't mean you should eat it. And then the second verse, a sweater fitting, because you know that feeling of you go to a store and you try something on that you didn't plan to buy and you're like, oh, this is really great, and then you realize you don't need it at all. I've been trying very hard not to buy excess things, which kind of brought me to my last verse. Just because the job is good doesn't mean that I should take it. And I actually did write a pro and con list of like what would be good about taking this job if it were offered to me, and the pros did outweigh the cons. However, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be unhappy in the position that I'm still in, because I love what I do. Yes, there are things to be improved upon, but I think I'm not finished exploring this particular position that I'm in. So that's kind of where it came from. The B section, I will admit, is very generic. I just wanted something that would fit, that would kind of encompass it all. So instead of using like actual tangible things, I just wrote things exist that are super nice. We don't need them right away. Best to think about it overnight. Saying no to something good is perfectly okay. Best to partake when the time is right. In terms of my life situation, I'm going to trust that the right development is going to come to me if I continue doing a great job, which I see no reason that I would not continue doing a great job. I did a little bit of playing with first and second person perspective. So the first two A sections are addressing you. Doesn't mean that you should eat it, doesn't mean that you should buy it. The B section is about us. Things exist that are super nice, we don't need them right away. And the last verse is about me. Just because the job is good doesn't mean that I should take it. So that's the lyric section. Let's talk about music. I wanted to put this song in D just because I don't have a lot of songs that are in D. What I ended up doing was something that was very similar to End of the Driveway, except I just put it in D. But I'll tell you the chord progression that I used, and then I tried something new with strumming, which I'll show you after the chord progressions. So I started with D. In the first line of the verse, it goes D, D, G, back to D. And then second line, D, A7, very classic. And then this is stolen right from The Wayward Wind and right from End of the Driveway, and I just like this progression for a third line of an A section, I guess. It goes D, D7, G, G minor. It's because of the sinking line, because there is, in this chord progression, G minor is a minor 4 chord in the key of D, and that is a chord you don't expect. It's what they call a color chord, because it doesn't really have a function like a major chord does. So you expect those chords, you don't expect the minor chord. So it kind of takes you to like, what? Like, things are developing, things are changing here. That's why I enjoy using a minor 4 chord. And then to end, I just go D, A7, G, and then D. Pretty simple. For the B section, I based it a lot on the 5-7, the dominant chord, which is A7. So I just go A7, A7, D, D, G, D, A7, 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 it's pretty much the same, D, D, G, D, A7, A7, and that's the B section. I feel like I stole that chord progression from something, but I cannot place the song. I feel like it was from some kind of acoustic indie rock band of the 2000s decade, like 2008 or something. I feel like it's something like Noah and the Whale, but I really can't place exactly what song. So if you hear that chord progression and you're like, oh, I know what song that's from, you stole it. Please tell me what song I stole that from. In terms of strumming, I saw this video that was about strumming patterns and counting, and I have to tell you, I'm not the most experienced ukulele player. Even though I've been playing since I was in high school, I haven't explored strumming a lot. And I've explored this rhythm a lot, where I would go, it's 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. This video explained about always strumming down on beats, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. Wrong. But I thought, I gotta really assess my own technique here. Even though there's many ways to approach playing a rhythm, I thought this would be very important to me as a player of this instrument. I thought I should work on trying a different strumming pattern. Instead of going down, up, down, like that, I went down, down, up. And I realized if I did that and I just had my arm doing the motion instead of going ba, 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 da, da, da. So that's not a steady motion, but if I go down, down, up instead of down, up, down, it changes how I approach singing the song and how I approach constructing the melodies, because now I'm not focused on making sure that my beats are even. I'm focused on singing the song because my hand is just doing what it's doing. I still have some kinks to work out with that technique, but I think that's going to make a really big difference. It doesn't sound any different, but it feels different. For the B section, I did change the strumming to be more simple just because the B section should be different. I made it very simple. It was 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. I changed the strumming for the B section as opposed to 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. So goes from more syncopated to more straight. So yeah, that's how I wrote this song. As I write more songs, I'm trying to incorporate more ways that each one can be distinct from the other, because if you do a whole bunch of one thing, I feel like there's a risk in everything sounding the same. So I'm working on my technique for the ukulele, trying to do something new, at least every once in a while, if not every time. I'm trying to do something new with words, working with metaphors, working with sensory imagery and all that stuff. So yeah, let me know if this was helpful for you, if you are getting some ideas from this, or if you are going to try something new. And maybe if you have suggestions for something new that I can try, that would be cool. I would like suggestions because I want to do new things all the time. I don't want to stick to one thing and another thing and I'm not married to one kind of style. I like to explore many styles, so let me know what you think I should try. I'll see what I can do. So thank you again for watching, and as always, stay mindful, stay musical, and stay out of trouble. Kind of